It's not partisan. This isn't partisan. I mean, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
Sure. Will you answer?
Maybe.
Okay. You've done great reporting, great digging reporting on the Mueller investigation, and lots of new information has come largely through you, quite frankly. And do you consider yourself part of the resistance?
No, not at all.
What are you then?
I'm simply out to follow the story wherever it goes, no matter whether it's good, bad, or otherwise for either side.
Suppose Mueller goes on for several more months and says, I can't prove collusion with Russia by Trump or anyone somebody close to him, and that there's no obstruction of justice I can prove. Are you going to feel badly?
No.
What are you going to feel?
I'm going to try and find out why he didn't get to that conclusion.
You think that's possible he would reach that conclusion?
Very possible.
You do?
As possible as the other possibility. Yeah, that he would.
And so how do you insulate yourself emotionally? We should have had a couple of couches here rather than chairs.
So 3 times a week I see my therapist.
Yeah.
I just simply say that, I try and divorce myself as much as possible. I didn't vote in 16. I didn't vote in 12. And that, for me, enabled me to push myself away and say, okay, I'm sort of an outsider to this. I'm sort of it's like you kind of look up, and I look at it like trying to cover the weather. It's like there's a big storm in front of you, and I'm trying to see different parts of it, and I can't really affect the weather, and it's not my job to affect the weather. It's just my job to try and figure out the weather and just try and follow it where it can.
Yeah. And right after Nixon resigned in 1974, Catherine Graham, who was the publisher, owner of the Washington Post, sent Carl Bernstein and myself a letter, and it was a lovely letter of personal advice. And she said, now this has happened, Nixon's gone, don't get too full of yourself. And then she said, beware the demon pomposity. And that was really good advice, because there's a lot of pomposity in our business, in politics, even academia occasionally. And it is the crippling force, I think. And you have to really try to bleach out. I love your analogy. It's the weather. And you can get up and kind of say an awful storm is coming, but that doesn't mean you're blaming the creator, or it means you're reporting. And I think there's a way to stay on this side of the non-resistance and to be very empirical and very factual. And because I've done this so many years, sometimes you're just wrong. I thought the Ford pardon of Nixon was really the last stage of the cover-up, and then I investigated and discovered actually it was an act of courage to let the country move on. And so that's very sobering.